Good morning, all of you. Since in the last class we discussed lecture 1, the topic is basic concepts of chemistry, and in that topic we have discussed about physical quantities. Now I am discussing lecture 2 for the same concept, same chapter, basic concepts of chemistry, that is significant figures. This is also very important for NEET point of view. So what are significant figures? So in chemistry we know the amount of substance will be very less number, that is unable to that least number we will not able to write because it's a very large number. So for that sake we'll use the numbers in terms of tens powers. That is nothing but we'll write the notation in the power of 10. Like for example, Avogadro number 6.023 in 10 to the power of 23 particles, or 6.023 in 10 to the power of 23 only Avogadro number. So in that way, if you write, it will be convenient for us to indicate the number. That's why we'll use, that is called the topic called significant figures or digits. So what are significant figures? The numerical value of a physical quantity is determined experimentally. Due to experimental errors and the limitation of the measuring instrument, the numerical value always entitles some degree of uncertainty. Uncertainty means not sure. Its value is fixed so as to include all those digits which are known with certainty, and the last digit indicates the uncertain value. So for example, if we take the least count of a screw gauge, we can say 0.01 centimeter. So 0.01 is uncertain. 0.01 is value will take, whereas other values other than that, it is uncertain value. The same way, the total number of such digits are known as significant figures. So in significant figures, we write only the number or digits, not the entire number. Thus, the significant digits in a numerical quantity are those digits which are known definitely plus the one extra digit that is not accurately or definitely known. So, what are the rules for writing significant digits? All 0 digits except in the beginning of a number are significant. So, all 0 digits except in the beginning of a number are significant. So, for example, 078. In this 78 is significant, but 0 is not significant. Next, second point. Yes, 78 is significant. Second point, zeros appearing in the middle of a number or at the end of a number that includes decimal point are all significant. Zeros appearing in the middle of a number, that is 705, it is significant. This zero is significant. Or at the end of the number that includes a decimal point, for example, 705.06. So this zero is also significant. Next, third point. Zeros at the end of a number without a decimal point are ambiguous. For example, 7,500 may have 2 or 3 or 4 significant figures. For example, if we take only 75, it is 2 significant figures. 750, 3 significant figures. 7,500, 4 significant figures respectively. So 7,500 may have 2, 3 or 4 significant figures depending upon whether the uncertain measurement is 100 or 10 or 1 respectively. But a number 7,500 has 4 significant digits as it includes a decimal point. So if you take 7500 point is there, then it has 4 significant figures because all the zeros are significant. So before the decimal point, all the zeros are significant. That is very important point to be noted down. So before the decimal point, all the zeros are significant. Now to count the significant digits in a number, one starts counting from left to right, beginning with first non-zero digit and ending with a digit that has certain value. For example, you can see the few examples. Consider this number 0.0002. Number of significant digits is 1 because all the zeros are not significant before and after the decimal. And number is 3.80. Second one, 0.0038. It has 2 significant numbers because the zeros before the decimal and after the decimals are not significant. Next, 0.0380, it has 3 significant figures. Next, 0.3800, it has 4 significant figures. So in the examination, they'll ask number of significant figures for the number. They'll give the number like this in the left hand side, and they'll give options, and you are supposed to write the options based on the rules of significant figures. Next, coming to next example, 3.800, we have 4 significant figures because decimal is included over there. If 3800 is there, it has only 2 significant figures. Similarly, 3800 is there, it has only 2 significant figures. It is not shown in the table. I'm just giving example. Next, 3.080, it has 4 significant figures because these zeros are significant. Next, 3.0805, it has 5 significant figures. All the numbers are included. Similar 0.3805, the 0 before decimal is not significant. So we will say significant figures is 4. So in this way, we'll write the number of significant figures. Now I'm moving to next slide. Now, the counting of discrete variables such as pencils, erasers, and so on leads to an exact number. For example, if you say how many pencils you have, you'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Also, two variables by definition are related to each other to an exact number. For example, 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. This is also an exact number. The exact number may be considered to have infinite number of significant figures. Now, what is next topic is mathematical manipulation of physical quantities. Mathematical manipulation of physical quantities. What is this mathematical manipulation? An algebraic operation may involve numerical quantities of varying degrees of precision. In such a case, the final answer should not be more precise than the least precise number. So this is very, very important point involved in the calculation. The following rules are to be followed to decide the significant digits in the final answer. Now we are going to discuss what is this mathematical manipulation means. For example, if they are given addition or multiplication or subtraction or division of different digits, and final answer if you want to find for the significant figures, then you have to follow these guidelines. Very, very important. First case, in an arithmetic operation involving addition or subtraction, the answer should include a factor of uncertainty equal to the maximum uncertainty present in the numbers being added or subtracted. For this, let me show you an example. Yes, you can see here, addition, examples of mathematical operation. Addition, you can see. So 16.0, 0.094, 0.13. You are supposed to add these three numbers. So in significant figures, how to add this? This type of questions you'll definitely get in the objective exams, competitive exams. So 16.0, 0.094, 0.13. So if you add summers directly, you'll get 16.224. And the number of significant figures will be 3 for this because you have to take the least one and it is rounded up to 16.2. So number of significant figures for this is 3. So you have to round off up to 16.2, not the 24 is uncertain. So we'll write only 16.2 is accurate. So this is called manipulation of mathematical calculations in case of addition. Now in the case of subtraction, if you see 67.69 minus 2.113 involves maximum uncertainty, that is 65.577 you will get, that is 65.577. This we can round it up to 65.58 because the second digit to be rounded off is greater than 5. So it is to be taken as succeeding number. That also I'll tell you. So it should be rounded off up to 65.52 and number of significant figures for this is 4. Similarly, multiplication, we have to round off up to, so 0.083 into 10.1, you will get 0.8383 and the rounded off up to 0.84. So its significant figure is 3, 2. Significant figures is 2. Similarly, division, 0.0154 by 883. So you have to write 0.000017440, round off up to 0.0000174. It is 10 power minus 5. So in this way, you'll write 1.74 and 10 to the power of minus 5. Significant figure is 3. We will not consider 10 power minus 5 because 10 power minus 5 is uncertain over there. So in this way, we'll do addition, multiplication, subtraction, division in a significant figures. So second one, if you see in an arithmetic operation involving multiplication or division, the answer should include significant figures equal to the minimum significant figures. See, for example, I'll show you the multiplication option. See here, 0.083 and 10.1. So 0.083, how many significant figures? Significant figures is 2. For 0.083, number of significant figures is 2. And for 10.1, number of significant figures will be 3. So the answer should not exceed more than 2 digits. That is the important condition. Even in addition also will follow the same, subtraction also will follow the same, multiplication also, and division also. So here the number of significant figures. Why you are rounding off up to 0.84? Because the answer should not exceed more than minimum number of significant figures. So in the multiplication numbers, we have seen 10.1 have 3 significant figures and 0.083 has 2 significant figures. Since it has only 2 significant figures, it should be rounded off up to maximum 2 numbers only. So that's why 0.8383 can be rounded off to 0.84. So the answer should be number of significant figures should be not more than the least number. So that is the second point. So in an arithmetic operation involving multiplication and or division, the answer should include significant figures equal to the minimum significant figures. Minimum you underline there. So minimum significant figures present in the number being multiplied and or divided. Next, in an arithmetic operation involving mixed manipulations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, the steps which limit the significant digits decide the number of significant digits in the final result. One such step is subtraction, and in which the significant digits are also changed. So the same way here also. For addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division, we have to follow the same. Next, fourth point. The presence of exact numbers in an expression does not affect the number of significant digits in the answer. The presence of exact numbers in an expression does not affect the number of significant figures in the answer. Next, how to round off a number. In reporting the final answer of mathematical operation, the last digits may need rounding of desired significant digits. The following rules are to be followed. So, basic rule number 1. If the digit following the last digit to be written is more than 5, the last digit to be written is increased by 1. For example, rounding off 3 to rounding off to 3 significant digit, the number is 6.077. Here, if you want to round up to only 3 digits, so the last digit is 7 here, because the third one is 7. 774 is leave it off. So yes, in 6.07, we have to round up 7. So 7 is greater than 5, so it should be increased by 1. So 7 plus 1, 8. So answer will be 6.08. Similarly, if the digit following the last digit to be retained, if the digit following the last digit to be retained is less than 5, the last digit is left unchanged. Very, very important. For example, if you want to round up 3 significant figures for this, that is 6.073. 073. So 6.07 is the answer. So it should be written the same number. It should not be increased by 1. So in this way, we'll do significant figures. So this concept is very, very important. If the last one, if the last digit is to be rounded off, if the last digit which is to be dropped is 5 below, followed by zeros or no other digit, then increase in the last significant digit by 1 if it is odd, and leave it if it is unchanged if it is even. For example, if you want to round up 6.075 rounded up to 3 significant big digits, then since 5 is the last digit and it is before that 5, it is odd number. Before that 5, that is 7 is odd number. So we have to increase the digit by 1. So it is 0.08. Similarly, if you take 6.065, the last digit is 6 before the last digit, rounded off. So 6 means even, so it should be remains same, that is 6.06. So these are the rounding of rules. So we can round up the number like this. Now, scientific notation of a number. A number may be small or large. To express a number in a compact manner, the scientific notation is used. In this, a number is written as n into 10 to the power of n. So all the numbers are be converted into tens powers. So for example, 150 is written as 1.57 10 to the power of 2. Avogadro constant, already I told you, 6.022 in 10 to the power of 23. Planck's constant, 6.626 in 10 to the power of minus 34 joule second. So now you know how to do addition, multiplication, division, subtraction. Very, very important. Once again, I'm repeating addition. So if you want to, if they have given a problem like this, add 16.0 0.094, 0.13, and write how many significant figures in it. They'll say, they'll not ask the value of the addition product. They'll ask the number of significant figures in the product. In the product means in the result. So as we got 16.224, and if you take only 16.224, number of significant figures will be 5. Number of significant figures will be 5. 16.224, number of significant figures is 5. But based on the rules of significant figures, the rounded off should be done, and round off should be done in certain manner that of all the numbers which you have added, the number of significant figures will be least for the answer. So if we take 16.0, it has 3 significant figures. If we take 0.094, it has 2. And 0.13 also it has 2. So the number of significant figures to be rounded off should not be increased more than 2. That's why we have taken round up to 16.2. So it is maximum 3. The same way subtraction also you have to do like this, and multiplication as well as division. So I hope you understood this concept. Next concept I'm moving. Next, mixed manipulations. You can see here, let x is equal to 94,678 by 2.303 into 8.314 into 1 by 298 minus 1 by 308. This is Arrhenius equation where you will get in plus 2, that is 12th class. But just for calculation part, I have used this equation. So for example, x is equal to this much. Firstly, the computation is carried out without taking into account the significant digits. Straight away, you have to multiply the whole thing, and final answer you have to get it. That is 0.538739. Now, the answer to the first calculation requires the answer to be reported in 4 significant, because the lowest is 4. Because 2.303, 4 significant figures, 8.314, 4 significant figures. So the second calculation involves division and subtraction. The actual operation involves 1 by 298 is equal to 0.00336 and 1 by 308 is equal to 0.00325. Then the significant figures will be 0.00011. Since the answer involves only 2 significant figures, the final answer of the calculation will also involve only 2 significant figures. Hence, the answer will be 0.54. So you should round up the answer to up to 0.54, because after 3, 8 is there. So more than 5. After 3, 8 is there. So it should be equal to 0.54. So in this way, you have to do mixed manipulations. If the temperatures are written as 298.15 and 308.15, the answer will include 4 significant digits, and it is equal to 0.5387. 0.5387 is the answer. So how many number of significant digits you have to use based upon the calculation given in the question. Now coming to the questions based on this concept, very, very important. The significant digits in the number 0.300 are. So after decimal, all the zeros are significant, first rule. So the answer is 3, because 300. So answer is 3. First one is C. Next, second one. The radius of hydrogen atom is 5.29 10 to the power of minus 11 meters, and that of proton is 1.5 10 to the power of minus 15 meters. The ratio of the radius of the atom to the radius of the proton in the scientific notation. So scientific notation means we have to convert the answer into tens power. So first you have to divide 5.29 in 10 to the power of minus 11 by 5.29 into 10 to the power of minus 11 divided by 1.5 into 10 to the power of minus 15. So 10 to the power of minus 15 coming to numerator becomes 10 to the power of 15. 15 minus 11, 10 to the power of 4. So next step you have to write 5.29 in 10 to the power of 4 divided by 1.5. So 5.29, 1.5 changes to 3.5 times. 1.5 how many times in 5.29? Approximately 3.5 times. So answer is 3.5 into 10 to the power of 4. So answer is C option. Option C. Next, if pi is equal to 3.14159, then the value of 4 pi into 0.0125 in the scientific notation will be. So in scientific notation, you have to convert all the zeros into tens powers. So third answer is option B, that is 1.96 in 10 to the power of minus 3. If you multiply, you will get the answer clearly. Next, fourth one. The answer to the expression 1.561 10 to the power of 3 minus 1.80 in 10 to the power of 2 plus 2.02 in 10 to the power of 4 up to the correct significant digits is. So they're asking us to find out the answer for subtraction as well as addition. So for this, the result will carry two digits after decimal. So after decimal 2 digits. Why? Because 2.02 is there, 1.80 is there, 1.561. 1.561 after decimal you have 3 digits, but 1.80 we have after decimal 2 digits, and 2.02 after decimal is 2 digits. So least one you should consider. So answer should be not more than 2 digits. So 2 digits into 10 power 4. So you have to 1.561 minus 1.80 you have to do, and then 2.02. Then you add the tens powers, you'll get the answer as first option, that is 2.16 into the power 4. Next, the number of significant digits in the number 126000 is 126000 actually. So the answer is 3, because all the zeros before the decimal are not significant. So number of significant digits will be 3 only. So answer is option A. So in this way, you have to do significant figures, and the examination questions also you'll get. This is even more difficult questions I have taken. And if you take the objective material, you can see easy questions also. So please do that remaining questions also from Jayendra material or any other material. So if you follow Jayendra material also, you can able to solve easily all these questions after this concept. So this is the significant figures concept or significant digits concept. Now next concept, I'm moving to next concept, that is how to calculate atomic mass and molecular mass. This is very, very simple. Even in school days also you might have done it, but still it is there in our concept. So I'm explaining all these things. And before going to this, you should know the atomic numbers of all the elements up to 1 to 40 minimum with their atomic masses. Atomic number is denoted by letter Z and atomic mass. So Z value and A values of all the elements. For example, hydrogen Z value is equal to 1. A value is equal to hydrogen molecule. So like that you have to take into consideration. Hydrogen atom molecular atomic mass is 1.008 AMU. So you should know the atomic masses of up to 40 elements in the periodic table. Then you can do this easily, how to find atomic mass and molecular masses. Now coming to IUPAC recommendations. The IUPAC has recommended the following terms while dealing with atomic and molecular masses. That is relative atomic mass of an element. The relative atomic mass of an element is the ratio of the average mass per atom of a specified composition. That is natural isotopic composition is assumed unless some other composition is specified, of an element to 1/12 of a mass of an atom of the nucleate carbon-12. So all the, for example, I told you the atomic mass of oxygen is 16. Okay, how it came 16? Because it is been considered with standard comparison, that is mass of an atom by 1/12 of mass of carbon atom. So how many times the mass of how many times it is equal to 1/12 of mass of carbon atom, that is called the mass of an atom. So for example, if the mass of atomic number, if the mass the atomic mass of oxygen atom is 16, it means that oxygen is 16 times to 1/12 of mass of carbon atom. Oxygen is how many times? 16 times to 1/12 of mass of carbon atom. So this is called standard comparison. So all the atomic masses of the elements are been compared with respect to mass of carbon atom, that is carbon-12 isotope. Actually, carbon has two isotopes, that is carbon-12 natural carbon atom and carbon-14 isotope also we have, but they are taken into consideration 1/12 of mass of carbon-12 atom. Carbon-12 represents the mass of carbon-12. Next, relative molecular mass of a compound. The relative molecular mass of a compound is the ratio of the average mass per molecule of a specified isotopic composition of a compound to 1/12 of mass of an atom of the nucleate carbon-12. So it is also compared with mass of molecule divided by 1/12 of mass of carbon atom. Next, the quantities AR, that is atomic mass and molecular mass, are formally known as atomic weight and molecular weight respectively. So it may be noted that AR and MR carry no units, as these are simply the ratio of two masses. Now 1 AMU is equal to 1 unit, that is equal to mass of carbon-12 atom by 12. So it is equal to how much? 1 AMU is equal to 1.661 in 10 to the power of minus 27 kg, or 1.661 in 10 to the power of minus 24 grams, which is equal to mass of proton. In other words, mass of one atom. Next, atomic masses. The average mass per atom of a specified isotopic composition of an element is known as the atomic mass. Its symbol is Ma, or AR into mass unit. So, molecular mass, MF. Molar mass, the average mass per unit of a the average mass per unit amount of a substance of a specific isotopic composition is known as molar mass. Mathematically, we write it as m is equal to small m by capital N, small n, where small m is called mass in kgs and n is called number of moles. Now, coming to calculation part. So, before going to that, I'll try to write here. Calculate the molecular mass of or molecular weight. Calculate the molecular weight of potassium dichromate, K2Cr2O7, potassium dichromate. So how to find molecular weight? Simple it is. It is equal to potassium, already you know it is atomic weight is 39. So 39 into 2. So okay, potassium 39, I'm writing individual elements also. Chromium, potassium 39, chromium 54, and oxygen 16. This is the mass of individual elements. Oxygen only O, it is 16. So it is a mass of individual elements. Now applying the concept here. So how many potassiums in the potassium dichromate? We have 2 potassiums. So answer is equal to 2 into 39 plus chromium. Mass is 54. It has 2. So 2 into 54 plus oxygen 16. But we have 7 here. So 7 into 16. So total it comes around 294. So in this way you will find the molecular mass of a compound. 294 AMU. AMU. So molecular mass. Next. So the relation between molar mass and atomic mass or molecular mass. If a system has n entities, atoms or molecules, we have m is equal to, that is molecular mass, molar mass is equal to n into MA, that is number of entities into mass of each one. So n is equal to n by Na. All these things you might be getting confusion. So now to see this table, simply you can find, you know how to find atomic mass as well as molecular mass. Next, coming to relative atomic mass of sodium is 23. So atomic mass of sodium. This table indicates, for this example, you can understand better. So for example, for this table, I'll tell you. Relative atomic mass of sodium, already you know mass of sodium atom is 23. So atomic mass of sodium becomes 23U, where U is called unit, and it is equal to number of particles. That is 1.67 10 to the power minus 27 kg. So the final answer is 3.8 to 10 to the power minus 26 kg. Similarly, molar mass of sodium. Since molar mass means what number of atoms present in sodium molecule. Since sodium is monoatomic molecule, so molar mass is equal to 23 grams per mole. Similarly, relative molecular mass of carbon dioxide is 44. CO2 is 44. So molecular mass of carbon dioxide is called 44U. That is 44 into 1.66 into the power minus 27 kg, which is equal to 7.30 into 10 to the power minus 26 kg. Similarly, molar mass of carbon dioxide is 1 mole. That is 44 grams per mole. Quite often, we do not specify the units of atomic, molecular, and molar masses. Hence, our statements are not exact and precise. In other words, a mere replacement of the term weight by mass without carrying the associated unit does not complete our adoption of IUPAC recommendations. So whenever we write or speak of atomic, molecular, and molar masses, we must state the molecular mass of carbon dioxide. We must state the associated units. It may be noted that the term gram atomic weight, gram molecular weight, gram formula weight, gram atom, gram molecule are obsolete terms and that should be abandoned. So these are different. If the molecular weight is expressed in grams, it is called gram atomic weight, gram molecular weight. Next, natural isotopic composition of an atom or molecule. An atom or a molecule in nature exists in its natural isotopic composition. The terms mentioned above for atomic or molecular masses to refer to an average value of this natural composition. For example, natural magnesium consisting of 3 isotopes, that is 24 magnesium 24, magnesium 26. And to find the average atomic mass of magnesium, and that is mass of magnesium is 23.985 exact U, and in that 78.99% is 24 magnesium, and 11.01% is 26 magnesium, and 25 magnesium is 10%. So magnesium atomic mass. So we have to find average atomic mass of all these three. So finally we got 0.7899 into 23 percentage value into the molecular atomic mass. By adding all these things and by taking average, we'll get 24.306. So we'll consider it as 24 finally. And 24.306 U is the exact average atomic mass of magnesium. In this way, we'll find average atomic mass. To find average atomic mass, percentage of isotopes into individual mass. So sum of all the percentage into individual mass plus percentage of second isotope into individual mass plus percentage of third isotope into individual mass. So this is the formula for finding average atomic mass of any other element like magnesium. We have given here example. Hope you can understand. Simply 78.99% should be taken as 78.99 divided by 100. That is equal to 0.7899 into 23.985 is the atomic mass unit of that isotope of particular magnesium, that is 24. Similarly, plus 0.100, 11.01% into 24.986, that is 10% is given here, 25th isotope, plus 0.1101 into 25.983 is the mass of 26 magnesium. So by calculating this, you will get 18.9 plus 2.4986 plus 2.861. Finally, you get the answer 24.306 U. Similarly, next concept, number of constituent particles in a given amount of substance. As mentioned earlier, 1 mole of a substance contains 6.022 in 10 to the power of 23 constituent particles, atoms or molecules or ions. This fact is expressed by Avogadro constant for a given amount of substance which has value of 0.622 in 10 to the power of 23 mole inverse. It is expressed by the symbol N of A. So N of A represents Avogadro number. So 1 mole of any substance contains how many particles? Avogadro number of particles. So for example, if I say 1 mole of an atom, it contains Avogadro number of atoms. If I say 1 mole of molecules, it contains Avogadro number of molecules. Similarly, if it contains 1 mole of ions, it contains Avogadro number of ions. So for example, number of molecules in 0.5 ml of glucose is, so 0.5 moles, 0.5 moles of glucose is, already you know 1 mole of glucose contains 6.022 in 10 to the power of 23 molecules in it. So 0.5 moles means half of that, that is equal to 6.023 in 10 to the power of 23 divided by 2. So you will get the answer 3.00011 into 10 to the power of 23. So this is the answer. So in this way, you'll find number of constant particles in a given amount of substance. Next, the amount of substance in a given mass. The amount of substance in a given mass may be calculated from the expression N is equal to given mass by molecular weight. Very, very important. Here, N is equal to given weight by molecular weight. So for example, in 1 mole of a substance, given weight by molecular weight, you can calculate. Next. Before going to that, I'll tell you. Yeah. So, number of moles. To find number of moles in a given amount of substance, in a given substance, to find number of moles in a given substance, so question number 1, you can just see here. For one question, I'll tell you an explanation. Calculate the number of moles. Calculate the number of moles in 360 grams of glucose. So calculate the number of moles of glucose in 360 grams of glucose. Number of moles of glucose in 360 grams of glucose. So it is very simple to find number of moles. N is equal to small n is equal to given weight of glucose, that is 360, by molecular weight of glucose divided by molecular weight of glucose, that is 180. How you got 180? Because glucose formula is C6H12O6. C6H12O6. So the carbon 12 already you know, so is equal to 12 into 6 plus 12 into 1. For each hydrogen only 1, and oxygen 16 into 6. So this will add up to 180. So 360 by 180, so it is equal to 2 moles. So number of moles in glucose is equal to 2 in 360 grams of glucose. So this is the way to find number of moles. Next, how to find percentage composition of elements in a compound. Very, very important. This is simple. To find percentage of an element in a compound, so mass percentage of element is equal to find mass percentage also you can find. For example, the molar mass of sulfuric acid is already, you know, it is 98. For example, the molar mass of sulfuric acid is, after calculating the formula, 2 hydrogens are there, 2 into 1. Sulfur atomic weight is 32, so 32 plus 4 into 6, total 6 is 16 actually, 4 into 16. Yes, 1 is not printed. So 16 is equal to 98 grams. So the percentage of hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen in sulfuric acid may be calculated by using the formula mass percent of element is equal to number of its atom, number of atoms in the molecule, molar mass of atom by molar total mass of the compound, that is molar mass of the compound, into 100. Let us see, for example, mass percentage of hydrogen. Number of hydrogen sulfuric acid we know already it is 2. So 2 into each mass of one atom of hydrogen is 1. That is molar mass of atom divided by total mass of the compound is 98 into 100%. So we got 2.04%. Similarly for sulfur, it is 32.65, and for oxygen it is 65.31%. So in this way we will find the percentage of element in a compound. So to find percentage of element in a compound, or mass percentage of element, number of its atom in the molecule into molar mass of atom by molar mass of the compound into 100. So now I'll show one more example. No need of showing one more example. So determination of chemical formula. Now how to determine chemical formula. So it is very, very important. You will get in the examination. The chemical formula of a compound may be determined from the mass percentage and of atoms present in it. The latter are ascertained experimentally by employing the appropriate procedures. With these percentages known, one can proceed to determine the molecular formula as indicated in the following. For example, how to find molecular formula or empirical formula of a given compound. Take the mass of each element equal to its mass percentage and divide this by corresponding molar mass. This is the first rule. Take the mass of each element equal to its mass percentage and divide this by corresponding molar mass. If the mass is taken in grams or molecular mass, if the mass is taken in atomic mass units. This gives the relative amounts or number of atoms of different elements present in the compound. Let us see one example here. So I am dividing by total rules for finding empirical formula and molecular formula I'm writing. So second rule, third rule, fourth rule also you just listen. Afterwards I'll show you how to find it. So second rule, divide the amount of elements by the smallest amount to give a simple relative ratio of atoms present in the compound. Third rule, if the relative ratio of atom involves non-integers, then multiply all the simple ratios by suitable number to get a whole number. And fourth rule, an empirical formula is written by taking as many atoms as given by the whole number ratio. So, and to find molecular formula, empirical formula into n times. How to find n? N is equal to molar mass by molar empirical formula mass. These numericals are very, very important in the exam. So, easily you can understand. I'll tell you one example. Not this one. Yes. Now you can see here, question number 1. The insecticide DDT has the following composition by mass. That is, they are given DDT is it is used as to kill insecticides. So they are given the composition of DDT contains 47.5% of carbon, 2.54% of hydrogen, and 50% of chlorine. Now we have to determine its empirical formula, and the molar mass of DDT is given 354.5 grams per mole. To find molecular formula, we have to know the molar mass, and that will be given in the numerical itself. So how to find it? Now coming to first rule is what? first find the simplest ratio of all the elements in the compound. So simplest ratio, before simplest ratio, you have to find first relative atomic mass. So first carbon is how much? 47.5. So it is taken as 47.5 grams. And amount of atom of carbon in that molecule is 47.5 divided by 12 grams per mole, because the atomic mass of carbon is 12. So 47.5 by 12. So the respective element divided by its atomic weight, that is equal to 3.95 mole. Similarly, for hydrogen, 2.54% is given. So 2.54 by 1, that is 2.54 mole. Similarly, chlorine is given 50. So 50 grams by 35.5 is the atomic mass of chlorine. So you should not take molecular mass, you should take only atomic mass. So 1.41 moles. Now, second step, third step is what? Out of all these three, which is the least one, we have to divide the remaining others with the least one. That is simplest ratio. How to find simplest ratio? Of all the three amounts we have got, that is 3.95, 2.54 and 1.41. So 3.95, 2.54 and 1.41. 1.41 is the least. So divide the remaining with 1.41. That is 3.95 by 1.41, 2.54 by 1.41 and 1.41 by 1.41. So you got 2.8, 1.8, 1. As we got the whole number, we have to multiply with suitable number. That is, as we didn't get the whole number, we have to multiply with a suitable number so that we get a whole number. So the number is 2.8 into 5. So if you multiply with 5, 2.8 into 5 is 14, 1.8 into 5 is 9, and 1 into 5 is 5. So the answer is, empirical formula for this compound is carbon 14, hydrogen 9, chlorine 5. So C4H9Cl5. As we know, the total empirical formula mass is equal to, empirical formula molar mass is equal to 354.5, and molar mass also given 354.5. So n value is equal to 1. So to find molecular formula and empirical formula is same, because here 354.5 empirical formula mass is equal to molecular formula mass in this case. So in this way you have to do questions based on empirical formula and molecular formula. I hope this is clear. Very, very important point. Very, very important this is. And let us take second example. So this is in the model second model. In this, they will not give percentage, they will give weights. So in this case, a gaseous hydrocarbon on combustion gives upon 3.08 grams of carbon dioxide and 0.72 grams of water. Determine its empirical formula. The hydrocarbon formula we have to find out. So for example, mass of carbon in the carbon dioxide is equal to, so mass of carbon in the carbon dioxide is equal to mass of carbon by mass of carbon dioxide in total mass. So similarly, amount of hydrogen in water is equal to, also we can find. So first we need to find number of moles. So amount of carbon is equal to total carbon dioxide is, total mass of carbon dioxide is, molar mass of carbon is 44. In that, carbon is given is 3.08. So 3.08 divided by 44, that is 0.07 moles. That is amount of carbon. Amount of hydrogen is 2 into 0.72 grams by 18, because water molecule is 18. So 0.08 mole. And out of this, the ratio of C is to H is equal to 7 is to 8. So the empirical formula of the compound is simple. That is C7H8. They have not asked the molecular formula, only empirical formula. So they are not numbers. So to get numbers, we have to multiply with 10. So that is 7, 0.07 into 10 is 7, and 0.08 is into 10 is 8. So 0.07, 0.08. So answer is C7H8. In this way, you'll get. This is the second example. Next. Now, multiple choice questions based on section 3. That is today's lecture. So the unified atomic mass unit has a value of 1.661 into 10 to the power of minus 27 grams, or 1.661 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kgs, 1.67 into 10 to the power of minus 25 grams, or 25 kgs. So answer is second option B. So already you know 1.67 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg. The relative atomic mass of sodium is 23. Which of the following statement is not correct about sodium? So atomic mass of sodium is 23 U. Atomic mass of sodium is 3.82 in 10 to the power minus 26 kg. Molar mass of sodium is 23 grams per mole. And the number of atoms in 24 kg of sodium is 6 points. So fourth option is wrong. In 24 kg of sodium, it is not equal to 6.022 because 24 kg is not the molecular mass of sodium. 23 grams per mole is the molecular mass of sodium. So answer is fourth option is wrong. Next, chlorine exists as two different isotopes. One is chlorine 35, that is 30, atomic mass is 34.9688 U, 75.77%. And there is second isotope of chlorine is 37, chlorine isotope is 37, that is mass of chlorine is 37, and atomic mass is 36.9659 U, 24.23%. The atomic mass of natural existing chlorine is, so to find atomic mass, we have to consider 34.9688 into 75.77 by 100 plus 36.9659 into 24.323 by 100. After calculating, you will get the answer. After calculating, you will get the answer. The answer for second option is B. D. Second option is D. So second option, the answer is D. That is, third one. Option is A. This is the third question. Option is after calculating, you'll get 35.427. I hope you understood this. So to find atomic masses, relative atomic mass is equal to atomic mass of two isotopes into percentages by the addition. Means the sum of two atomic masses with respect to their percentages. Next, question number 4. 3.9 grams of an organic compound on combustion gives 13.2 grams of carbon dioxide and 2.7 grams of water. How to find the empirical formula? So it is simple. So 3.9 grams of an organic compound, that is hydrocarbon. We have to find the empirical formula of the compound. So 13.2 grams of carbon is given, 13.2 by, so I'll write it here, 13.2 by 44 and 2 into 7.2 by 15, because the water molecule is 18, actually it should be, it is not 15. The printing is wrong. So 2 into 7.2, because 2 moles of hydrogen by 18. So it gets 0.3, 0.3. So they are in the ratio of 1:1. So answer is empirical formula is CH. CH. Next question. Question number 4 is finished. Question number 5. Which one of the following has maximum number of atoms? These type of questions are very, very important. So maximum number of atoms means first we should consider them in terms of moles. So 16 grams of carbon. I'm solving it in another page. You can just see. First option 16, 1 minute. First option, I write it here, all the options. First option 16 grams of carbon. Second option 20 grams of sodium. I'll verify first two options, then you can find the third and fourth. So first option 16 grams of carbon. In 16 grams of carbon, how many number of carbon atoms are present? So consider, you know already 12 grams of carbon is 1 mole. 1 mole of carbon is equal to 12 grams. So it contains 6.0223 into 10 to the power of 23. 023 10 to the power of 23. 223. Number of atoms in it. So 12 grams contains Avogadro number. So just we can find number of moles. No need to consider Avogadro number also. Just for our understanding, I have written. Now we'll see 12 grams is 1 mole. So 16 grams becomes how many moles? So 16 grams is equal to how much? So 16 into 1 by 12. 16 by 12. X is equal to 16 into by 12. So 16 by 12 is equal to how much? It is 4 by 3 or 8 by 6. So 4 by 3 means exactly approximately 3 divided by 4. So 4 by 3 moles. Similarly, you can find 20 grams of sodium. So it is less than 1 mole because 23 grams is 1 mole. 23 grams of sodium contains 1 mole. So it is less than 1 mole. 23 grams of sodium. 23 grams of sodium is equal to 1 mole. And the given is, I'm verifying second option, 20 grams of sodium. 20 grams of sodium. So it should be less than 1 mole. Is equal to how much? So 1 by 20, 20 by 23. So it is less than 1. So like this, you can find number of moles, and whichever is getting number of moles, that is getting the maximum number of atoms. Whichever option is getting number of moles less, that is getting number of moles more, that is getting maximum number of atoms. So answer will be fourth, that is fifth one, C. So 45 grams of sulfur is containing maximum number of moles. You can verify that by using the same calculation which I have done. Next, sixth question. An organic compound contains 20% carbon, 6.66% hydrogen, 47.33% nitrogen, and the rest was oxygen. Rest was oxygen. Underline this one. Rest was oxygen. So remaining percentage is oxygen. And its molar mass is 60 grams. Calculate the molecular formula. So let us find out this question separately. So how to calculate empirical formula and molecular formula, I'll show in the next page. So carbon percentage is given. Just I'll repeat the question again. Carbon percentage, and organic compound contains 20% carbon, 6.66% hydrogen, and 47.33% nitrogen, 20% carbon. I'm repeating the question. 20% carbon, 6.66 hydrogen, 47.33% nitrogen, and remaining is oxygen. So remaining is oxygen. So molar mass is given. Total molecular mass of this compound is 60 grams. Find the empirical formula as well as molecular formula. So to find molecular formula, first we should find empirical formula. How to find it? I'll show you now. Yes, you see carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen. You have to write like this in one column: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen. So you know carbon is 20%. So 20 by 12. Divide the percentage by its respective atomic weight. Hydrogen is 6.66. That is 6.66 by 1. So just divide by 20 by 12. Hydrogen is 6.66%. So 6.66 by 1. Nitrogen is 47.33. So 47.33 divided by nitrogen atomic weight is 14. And similarly oxygen. So 20 plus 6 plus 47. So if we take into consideration 20 plus 6.66 plus 47.33. So it adds up to 6 plus 7, 13. So 2 plus 4, 6, 6 plus 1, 73.99. So 73.91 total is, after adding carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, we'll get 73.99. And to know a percentage of oxygen, 100 minus 73.99. 100 minus 73.99. So to find percentage of oxygen, 100 minus 73.99 in the compound, it comes around 24.1. 24.01. So you take percentage of oxygen is 24.01. 24.01 divided by mass of oxygen atom is 16. So if you divide all these things, 20 by 12, 6.66 by 1, 47.33 by 14, 24.01 by 16, you will get 20 by 12 if you do. So you calculate 20 by 12 is equal to 1.66. 1.66. Similar 6.66 by 1 is 6.66. And 47.33 divided by 14 is equal to 3.38. Similarly, 24.01 by 16 is equal to 1.50. So next step, out of all these, which is the least one? If you see, 1.50 is the least one. So divide this 1.50 with all the elements. So that is next simplest ratio, 1.66 by 1.5, 6.66 by 1.5, 1.50 by 1.50. Last one is 1.50 by 1.50. So this is equal to 1. This is equal to 3.38 by, I'm coming from down, 3.38 divided by 1.50. 3.38 divided by 1.50 is 2.25. Similarly, 6.66 by 1.50 will get 4.44. Similarly, 1.66 by 1.5 will get 1.1. So you have to multiply with suitable number so that all will get whole number. Then you will get empirical formula as well as molecular formula. Just I'll show you this in the final answer. So in the hints and solution it is given clearly. You can just see. So it is carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and hydrogen. So it is 26.01 is oxygen percentage. So answer is 1:2 is to 1:4. So final answer is empirical formula mass is CN2OH4 and molar mass of is given 60. Since empirical formula mass and molar mass is similar, so we can say answer is CN2OH4. CN2OH4. This calculation part I have done only for your understanding. It is given in the hint. It is given clearly, so you can understand easily. Next question. Question number 8 is over. Now question number 9. Question number 9. The number of oxygen atoms is 24.9 grams of CuSO4.5. Question number 7 also we have to discuss, I believe. Mass percentage of sodium in Na2CO3 is. So to find mass percentage of sodium in Na2CO3, simple it is. So I'm showing it in the next page. Mass percentage of sodium is equal to in sodium carbonate is. So number of atoms of sodium into mass of sodium. Number of atoms of sodium into mass of sodium divided by molar mass of the compound, molar mass of sodium carbonate, molar mass of sodium carbonate into 100. So number of atoms in sodium is 2. 2 into mass of sodium is 23 by molar mass of sodium carbonate is 106. So if you substitute all the values, you'll get 106 into 100. Then you'll get the answer. In this way, you'll find the answer. So the option for this answer is question number 7, D option. So question number 7 is 43.40%. Next question number 8. If an iron oxide has 69.9% mass of iron, molar mass is 56 grams, and 30.1 mass of oxygen, its molecular formula will be just like empirical formula mass and molecular mass. You will get the answer. So you can see in the answers hints iron and oxygen. 69.9% iron is given by its atomic weight, that is 56. Similarly, oxygen 30.1 is given by its atomic weight 16. So you'll get the simplest ratio. The ratio is 1.248 and 1.881 respectively. In that 1.248 is least. So 1.248 by 1.248 you'll get 1, and 1.881 by 1.248 you'll get 1.5. So as you didn't get whole number, you have to multiply with 2. So answer is 2:3 ratio. So empirical formula is Fe2O3, and molecular formula also Fe2O3, because if you take molecular mass and empirical formula mass, both are equal. Now question number 9. The number of oxygen atoms in 24.9 grams of copper sulfate dot 5H2O is. Molar mass is given, copper is given 63 grams per mole. So number of oxygen atoms. So it is also simple. You can see the hint. So molar mass of copper, total copper is 249, and the amount of copper sulfate, hydrated copper sulfate, that is CuS445.5H2O in the given mass N is equal to 24.9 is the given mass by 249 is total, that is 0.1 mole, and in 1 mole you know already it is equal to Avogadro number. So in 0.1 mole, how many Avogadro number of atoms, how many oxygen atoms, sorry. So 9 into 0.1 is 6.022 10 to the power of 23, that is 5.42 in 10 to the power of 23 atoms is the answer. So in this way you can find molar amount of oxygen atoms in 29 grams of 224.9 grams of copper sulfate, hydrated copper sulfate. And last question, you have to find empirical formula again. A compound contains 11.99% nitrogen, 13.7% oxygen, 9.25% boron, B for boron, and 65.06% fluorine. Boron molar mass is 10.8 given. So you can take it up to 10.8 or 11 also you can take. So the same formula, that is 11.99. You can see the hint. So to find the ratio of nitrogen, 11.99 by 14, oxygen 13.7 by 16, boron 9.25 by 10.8, and fluorine 65.06 by 19. So you'll get the ratios in the form of 1:1:1:4. Finally, the empirical formula is NOBO4, NOBF4. So 1 nitrogen, 1 oxygen, 1 boron, 4 fluorines. So, and the answer is for this is second option. So in this way you have to do. I hope today's class you understood clearly. Thank you all. I'm ending the meeting. So in the next lecture we'll discuss about other topic in the same chapter. Thank you.